can you judge a good hire based on the interviews that you have with them and the vibe you get off of the person by the way that they act? I think most people, most HR people here would say, yeah, you probably can. Well, in April 2025, I sifted through 1,200 candidates to find a team of 10 salespeople, with the hope that 3 of them would actually be good enough for our company. And on paper and in person, they were lovely people. The best team we'd ever hired in terms of their efforts and their outlook on life, which are the things we noticed we couldn't teach. But none of them worked. Not a single one worked out. And within 6 months, they were all gone. And I've just finished this book. A recommendation from a friend of mine. This completely changed the way that he thought of things. Talking to strangers. And this book basically says, and gives you loads of compounding evidence as to why, is that the way that we think people act, or should act, given certain emotions, imagine an episode of Friends, right, those classic emotions, that we think people are transparent, that the emotions they're wearing on their face are what they feel behind and what they're thinking. And there's loads of research to show it's just not true. Like a ridiculous amount. Which is really bizarre. And even people who think that they have shock written on their faces. So there was an experiment that they talk about in this book. Scientific study done. Someone walks into a room for a scientific study, does a thing, and on the way back out, the corridor they walked in was replaced with a room. And their best friend sat there. So they've just teleported, essentially, and their best mate is there, and everyone comes out feeling like unbelievably shocked. And so many people were like, oh, the shock would have been written all over my face. And it wasn't. Watching the tapes back, not a single person acted. Oh, actually, I think it was one person did. Out of hundreds, did show genuine surprise. But everyone else did not. And this goes on for police, law enforcement, judges, all that sort of stuff, that it's not helpful information. And so it's actually distracting. And a lot of this book basically comes down to saying that against all human intuition and odds, it turns out using analytics and computer algorithms to determine whether someone is guilty or not guilty, or in this case telling the truth or not, about their ability to do a job, is so much better than a face-to-face interview. Like, such higher percentage likelihood of success. We're talking a difference of, like, face-to-face, it was less than 50% in terms of accuracy of people who were going to commit a crime again, but in terms of the computer, it was like 94% or something. It was crazy. And it's because people aren't easily read, and we don't all act the same way, and we shouldn't have to. What does that mean for your business? And what have I taken from this? The actions people take and their essential list, their CV, their life CV of the things that they have done, tell you a lot more about who that person truly is than you talking to them. And it's a sad, sad truth. But that's what we've noticed as well. So here's an example. I'm about to jump on some sales calls, which has got me thinking about this. We hired a sales team. Everyone knows sales guys and girls are driven by money. They're driven to get better. And they get paid a lot more than average positions or other positions because of that. Because the whole company rides on them. If they don't do their job, no one else can get paid. And yet, none of the people that we hired had ever in their past done something where the outcome of their ability was the direct cause of whether they got paid or not. Which sounds really obvious, like that should be a case for a sales guy, and it is. That is the hallmark indicator of a successful salesperson if they are willing to put their money where their mouth is. Yeah, I believe in myself. Of course, don't pay me a single penny. If I can't deliver you, you shouldn't pay me. But when you do, you pay me well. Fair? Okay. And that's what we do now. Now we find people who have put their own money into learning the skill, and then have them prove it, because they're happy to do so, on a trial run for which they get paid normally for. And if they are successful, then we're able to offer them a job. And yes, they still need to fit into the culture and all that sort of stuff. But from a business output, if you are throwing money away on people who can't do the job, your business is going to die. Speaking from experience, that mess up in April cost me personally £100,000 and 8 months of work where I didn't get paid cleaning up their mess. Now, I don't want to get us into a debate about like fairness of employment versus not, but if you want to be the person that someone wants to hire, if you want to be any type of person, have a CV that shows that you are capable of doing those things. And then you are likely that person. Whether you talk the talk or not, you have walked the walk, and that's the most important bit. So, although there's a lot of this book I didn't like, I really like that takeaway. And hopefully, if you're hiring anyone, this is a nice way for you to reduce errors. And hopefully useful for me looking back on this in the future to reduce my errors as well. So, there you go. Time to go make some money.